fact that Leon can outplay. Usually, I would actually favor like the buffed up Glaive coming in. I think that he would do so much more damage to Sky if he's able to get that afterburn in, punt somebody else away and just start auto attacking Sky. It would be really good. But Leon, I feel, can outplay that.
Yeah, definitely. With those mechanical skills, being able to jump around the fight with Sky is something he should be able to do. Also, that death from above, pretty easy to land on that Versa Judgment as well coming out of Adagio. Blackfeather is going to be the pick here, and so that'll probably be a laning Blackfeather, you'd imagine?
Yeah, this actually, the composition for Gangstar Cerebrus right now, I feel really fit their strong suits. In terms of mechanic-wise, everybody on their team can execute this out very well. And team coordination, it will come down to like being able to get that reflex block off. You really deny Glaive's afterburn, leaving both of your teammates like within the same position for that team fight where they can knock them down very quickly.
Well, one of the things, as you say, reflex block going to be a big deal, but they pick up the Arden, right? So if the reflex blocks comes out to get out of the gauntlet, or maybe to get into the gauntlet, to fight with your team, then, it's going to be on Glaive to be able to see who activated that, pick the right target, punt them out, or punt them into the position that he needs to be. But this is going to be tough with double stuns coming out.
Yeah, all things aside, I think everybody will have to be paying attention to Adagio here. I feel that because of the afterburns, because of like Arden's gauntlets, I think that Adagio's ultimate is going to be able to land a couple times, and that is going to hurt.
All right, let's see if he can land it. Guys, we've loaded into the games. Let's toss it over to our wonderful casters, Action, Jackson, and Vedius. Take it away, guys.
I'm sorry, man. I'm still speechless from last game. What a turnaround coming in from G2. They're now leading 1-0 up in this best-of-5 series. Gankstars Cerebrus, though, they're running a composition that I feel like really suits them. Vedius, I'm sure you'd agree.
Yeah, and, I think actually thinking back to last game, I agree with a lot of what Rome was saying. Well, I say a lot. I agree with everything that Rome says. He's a vainglory genius, and the fact is very few defensive stats as well as that surprisingly little sustained damage. But Gankstars, they're going to change it up. They have way more damage this game.
Yeah, I've seen some early fights here coming across. Leon is doing ridiculous damage already onto the jungle pair of G2K. They're being forced under their turret right off the bat. King does need to be careful about face checking, but Dark Potato wants to go in onto Leon. That's a lot of damage, but he needs to get back to his turret. He is way too low. King thinks he can hunt for the kill, but he can't quite do it. Redix, one more attack, picks up the first blood. G2K, that was a scary situation to be in, but they come out ahead. Now Leon taking a lot of damage from the camp. He's got to be careful. What? Mechanical God Leon dies to back camps.
Hey, it happens to the best of us, my friend. It happens to the best of us. You can see what he was trying to do. You can see what he was trying to do, which was steal away the back camps. It makes a lot of sense. He was likely going to die anyway, with the afterburn available on Dark Potato, with him having very little energy. He was just trying to make the best out of a bad situation. So, I want to give him the benefit of the doubt right there. It was unfortunate, but he did the best that he could in the situation that he was in. So fair play, Leon.
I'm also realizing Redix flash, whoa, King gets melted there. Leon could be in trouble here as well. Dark Potato can't really chase much further, though. Redix actually splashed fire onto him from the camp as well, I believe.
Yeah, so
it wasn't entirely just an execute, but yeah. I think he would have died to the creep camp anyway.
Well, either way, one thing I really want to highlight, right, is, yes, King got caught out of position right there, being a little bit over-aggressive on this Fortress, and he is getting punished for it nicely by G2 right now. But I find it interesting that Gankstars decided to pick this Fortress, because you heard me talking about it yesterday when I saw Dingo play, and I feel like Fortress is a good hero for him. It's something that he has been relying on quite heavily, has been falling back on, even in somewhat interesting compositions that typically you wouldn't see Fortress work in, and it just seems to be his go-to hero. And I think Gankstars also recognize this, and they want to try and force Dingo off of his comfort pick and see if he can play other things. In this early game so far, he is doing pretty well at 0-0 and 2, but that's largely due to the misplays of King rather than the proactive plays coming out from Dingo. So moving forward, we're going to have to keep an eye on how well he positions these gauntlets and how much peel he can provide to the rest of his team.
That is a very good point. Right now, Redix just rotating back to lane. Takes a bit of damage from the forward barrage, but returns a few basic attacks onto Leon as well. Right now, G2K, I mean, they're not really initiating very much aggression or aggressive plays. They're mostly just responding super well to what Gankstars is throwing at them, barring that one catch onto Emmer King by the Tribush. So, if you're Gankstars right now, I mean, do you feel a little bit shook by this? I feel like they need to be super careful not to overextend again, because things could quickly collapse.
I feel like that they're veteran players. I know Leon is pretty young, but he still seems to want to demonstrate how talented he is. So I don't think that from a mental perspective it's going to affect Gankstars that much. And given that they've made it to the finals in their first ever run through, I think they can be pretty proud of that regardless. So I think that they're coming in with a positive mindset. I think that they're just going to take each game as it comes, because I think that is the best way to do it. And I think that given they've made it this far, demonstrates how strong and well-rounded they are as a team. And this goes to both sides, really. And props to G2 for holding on in that game, because I personally would have given up. I would have struggled to know what to do. But with the experience that G2 has, they identified the problems. They identified what they needed to do to win on it, and they were quickly able to turn that game around.
A very good point. This game, they are sitting actually in a slight gold deficit, even though they've got these 3 kills to nil. That said, Redix has quite a number of minions to pick up here. E2, they're looking for opportunities. I mean, you can see Dingo kind of poking his head into the GSC side of the jungle. Unable to really secure anything, though. Dark Potato solo farming. I like this. This is very stylistically appropriate for G2K. They send Dingo towards Redix a lot of the time just to help him out, as Dark Potato just really rapidly farms. Techno JJ is going to be knocked back as a result of Dark Potato's afterburn there, but Leon has his back. Save him from going down. G2K not able to find any easy kills up against Gankstars Cerebrus.
In that way. Good collapse down onto Techno though. They're gonna force him out of lane, which is gonna help Redix in the farm department. But Techno, still very talented laner, doing a good job of just keeping that pressure, or keeping that farm up, even under all of this pressure coming out from G2. But surprisingly, Dark Potato actually staying even and slightly ahead of Leon in farm. Now for me, this is quite uncharacteristic of Leon. Usually he's that guy that, as he's come throughout the qualifier, has been very much about tunneling all this farm onto him, getting him to a point where he is so far ahead just in experience that he is dominating these team fights because he's already got 2 of his overdriven abilities. He's already hit his power spike stupidly early on into the game. And that's not what we've been seeing from Leon in this series. He's been playing more towards the team, trying to help the group out, and I don't know if that's necessarily the best playstyle for him. I feel like he needs to be in a situation where he can carry, and Techno JJ can be in a situation where he can just clean up. But they're looking for a play on a Redix. They may very well be able to find it.
Redix does go very low from that forward barrage out of Leon. This is what we've begun to expect from him, of course. Redix maybe stepping a little bit out there, but Dark Potato has a lot of damage right now. Look at the Blood Song, chunking everyone out. Dingo's stuck behind that death from above, but with the fountain, he is able to stay safe. Actually, Dark Potato, I mean, you were just touching on it right there. He had so much damage. He's actually looking for a little bit more now, right, as well. Can't quite get on the Leon, though. The boots keeping him safe for now. Dark Potato, oh, the Surrey Strike doesn't really get him all the way over the wall. Dark Potato has, oh, he's not actually yet got the overdriven afterburn. Techno JJ hitting 2 people with that on point, getting the slow off. But G2K are going to be repelled by Gankstars Cerebrus, but it looked pretty dicey for a second there.
G2 though, still looking very commanding. Notice how Dark Potato wasn't afraid to just dive in from his turret. He had the safety of his turret, and he just dived into 3 members, got the stun off down onto Techno, and was just like, let's force this fight, guys. We know we can come out ahead. And they just constantly forced Gankstars on the retreat throughout their jungle, and because of that, G2 are able to steal away the back camp. So yeah, okay, they don't get any kills, but we have to remember that in the early game, those back camps are insanely valuable. So I think G2 are still going to be pretty happy with that pickup.
I'd agree, and just want to touch on Redix here. He's going for that more selfish build that we were talking about before. He's picked up an alternating current. I really like that in this composition. I feel like Dark Potato is already pretty strong, so why put all your eggs in one basket when you can sort of diversify your damage sources a little bit? Makes a great deal of sense to me.
Yeah, That alternating current will do wonders for an Adagio. We saw earlier on from Team Secret going the alternating current into Shatterglass is also quite a nice compromise, so that you can still provide that protect the carry comp as the Gauntlet comes down to protect the gold mine.
Oh, it doesn't do it, though. It's going to be stolen away. Leon finds it. Dingo very low here. Is he going to be able to make this happen? Renix. Oh, what was that? He's on the back line finding Leon. Dark Potato wants Techno. It's going to be the ace picked up for G2K, and actually, that was an incredibly good fight considering the position they were in.
Damn, Daniel, that was one hell of a play coming out from G2. That was so good. Like, you saw the channel from the Verse of Judgment. Reddix made sure to wait for any heavy crowd control abilities to be used. He knew the death from above wasn't available, the Rose offensive was on cooldown, and he was just patient with it. Then, just as it was channeling up, again we saw Dark Potato use that afterburn to make sure that all 3 members of Gankstars were inside that Verse of Judgment. The 3-man stun goes off, and then it's just the cleanup for G2, even with the numbers disadvantage. Incredible play from them, and you can tell that it's planned because this is the second time Dark Potato has done it. He did it earlier on against Team Secret, and he's done it once again with G2, and it just shows how much they've practiced this combo of the Glaive and Adagio, and it is working phenomenally for G2 right now.
I tell you, man, Potato's gonna potate. Dark Potato has really been stepping up, I feel, in this most recent qualifier. He was always a standout member previously for G2, but this time it really feels like he's suddenly just elevated himself to another level. 302 right now, massively impactful performance, actually tying with Reddix on score. Both these guys having a big impact here. Dark Potato wants to go for this fight. Leon taking a lot of damage right off the bat, but is it going to be enough? Dingo, is he struggling a little bit just to get away there? Techno JJ with the on point does find a bit of return damage. But Gankstars Cerebrus, they're the ones that need to back away. They're the ones playing scared right now as Dark Potato is sped up by that Vanguard. Looking for the stun, gets
nice.
Leon into the wall. Surrey Strike, Leon, where are you going? That's the wrong way.
No, I think no. To be fair to him, I think he was actually moving closer to Detno, and he didn't realize that Dingo was just sitting in that brush. Because if he could have regrouped with Techno, then they could have perhaps turned that fight around, and he would have got a lot of damage down with that Surrey Strike. It didn't work out, and now Techno is the target focus.
Oh! Look at that gauntlet out of Dingo. That was absolutely beautiful. Finding the stun. One more attack would probably do it. Oh, stop, drop, and roll, Techno. You need to stop the fire. It's so close to taking him out. What? What? He didn't have a health bar. How did he die?
Health potions. No, have a look at Oh, he also has lifesteal, which helps a lot. He has the reflex block, so that shield mitigated some of the damage. Emma King didn't actually use his Fountain of Renewal, so base health regen. But fair play to Techno, just barely being able to get away from that one. Very unfortunate for G2, but they're going to be able to guarantee themselves the gold miner off the back of that. So great stuff from them, really well played, and they're still in a commanding lead right now. A complete far cry from what we saw in Game 1. Gankstars, given their sudden rise in popularity and given this sudden, lineup, this talent lineup that Gankstars picked up, everyone was like, oh, they're just gonna run over everyone. But to me, I feel like G2 have been the sudden surprise team. They beat Lemon and Lime, who no one really expected them to beat. Lemon and Lime were the favorites in there. They then beat Team Secret, who were also the favorites, and now they're looking super strong in the finals. So a lot of talk has been going on about G2 for a long time, but it's kind of fallen on deaf ears, and now finally G2 are stepping up to the plate. G2 are looking like top contenders, and at this rate may very well be willing to challenge that best EU Vainglory team position.
You know, I've always been a massive fan of Dark Potato. I'm sure anyone who's watched the casts before knows how much I like making puns about him. But I've never, as I said earlier, really seen this kind of standout performance from G2, and I feel like this is their season, right? This is them really practicing up, getting to a position where they're super strong, and starting to challenge these top spots. Dark Potato is going to be jumping in for a kill right now. Redix is very low, though. The first kill of the fight going to Techno JJ. Dingo, the fountain is popped. He's trying to get out of here, but right now he's just going to have to Vanguard Dark Potato and act as that sacrificial lamb. Afterburn gets Dark Potato a little bit further away. Right after I sung their praises and you sung their praises, G2K give up their first fight of the game.
And it's funny because that's the tower that in game 1, Gankstars also threw away their lead. So this could very well be a mirror matchup right now happening for Gankstars, and they may very well be able to claim their revenge. And it's all about this Black Feather really starting to turn on. Notice how all of his attention went down onto Redix. He was easily able to win out in that 1 versus 1, even with a fantastic gauntlet coming out from Dingo. I feel like Dark Potato should have put more emphasis on providing peel for Redix, because if they just group up and focus a target together, they can very quickly shut them down. Techno JJ demonstrating his mechanics on that hero, and he may very well be that opportunity that Gankstars need to put a foot back in this game.
You're absolutely right, but the gold mine going to be taken down here by G2K. Fairly close to the spawn of the Kraken, 30 seconds until that one goes across. We're still seeing a 2,000 gold lead for G2K, so they're in a good position moving forward. They just need to be careful not to pick any fights that they can't really afford to. They'd already gotten the tower in lane. Maybe it was a little bit too bold to continue fighting there. So we'll have to see if they check themselves a little bit before they wreck themselves moving forward.
Well, potato's gonna potato, haters gonna hate, potato's gonna potato. So we'll have to see if Dark Potato can shut up those potatoes, as right now he is once again grouping up with his team to set up a siege onto this turret. Their siege isn't that bad. Redix has quite a long range, but he is taking a lot of damage from the turret itself.
He is, and I think at this point G2K probably need to back away. You can see Dingo eats a lot from that forward barrage as well. We've got the Shatter Glass on Leon. He's not going for that Frostburn. All about the damage this game. At the moment, G2K should be able to regenerate, though. Probably look to push up again and contest that turret, which at this point is extremely low.
But look at this right now. G2, they realize they have the positioning. Look at all the vision they've put down as well. There's a lot of scout traps around this Kraken, and they should be able to pick this one up fairly cleanly. They were struggling to siege before, so how do you deal with struggling to siege? You get yourself someone that is fantastic at sieging. The lovely lass herself going to be joining the fold and helping G2K out and trying to break the base of Gankstars.
Remind me after the game to tell you how my date with the Kraken went. We haven't talked about that after the championships.
Please don't. Just don't.
All right, back to serious mode casting. G2K, they pick up the first turret without the Kraken even
Very
being
clean.
there. It's a bit rude to eat before your date gets to the restaurant, but there you go.
G2, they don't care about no customs. They're gonna do what they want. I don't know why I put a southern accent on, but whatever. Let's just run with it.
I was a little bit confused by it as well. Right now, all right, properly serious mode. That's going to be the gauntlet going across. Redix needs to be careful, kiting back right now onto Techno JJ. Look at the big burst damage coming across. Techno is going to... Oh, he's not going to go down, actually. Just barely able to survive. Dark Potato on the run, trying to get away. The Afterburn buys some time, but Leon has his number. The Kraken likely to find one more turret, but Gankstars Cerebrus defend and survive this game.
Wow, I cannot believe Techno was able to actually come out ahead in that fight. And you've got to give a lot of credit to that Crucible picking up, coming from Emma King. Like, it provided enough shield when you combine that with the barrier that came out from that Aegis that Techno JJ had completed as well. On top of the Fountain of Renewal, just so many tools to help keep Techno alive. He also has a lot of lifesteal available from that Serpent's Mask, and because he was able to survive for so long, he was able to get so much damage down onto Redix, who has gone full glass cannon. He has now picked up that Crucible, so it will help him keep alive for a little bit longer, but still, Techno JJ is the saving grace for Gankstars, and even though they are 4 turrets down, they are still coming out ahead in these engagements. So G2 are now the team that are on the back foot, and this just seems to be a running trend in these finals so far. Whichever team seems to be winning the early game seems to not be winning when it comes to the late game.
You are right there, but at this point, G2K, they've only got one more turret and the Vein Crystal left between them and a 2-0 lead in the series. So they're going to be looking to secure this, and they have got the potential
1-0 lead in the series, 1-0 lead.
They will have a 2-low lead if they secure this game.
Yeah.
Right, so if they want to do that, and I'm sure they do, they're going to be thinking really carefully about how they're going to pull ahead in this game. Maybe going for a catch. You can see them all lurking in a bush right now. Gangstar Cerebrus playing things safe, though, just shoving up these waves. Don't want to let those minions get anywhere near their last standing turret.
Look at that. Bonesaw picked up for Techno as well. He wants to shred through the very little armor that has been picked up from the side of G2, and that's probably another factor as to why Techno is able to just do so much damage. Very little defensive itemization to mitigate any of that consistent DPS that Techno is able to put out. I feel like a second Atlas Pauldron would make a lot of sense from Dark Potato, but he just wants to go Glass Cannon, and this is something we're seeing a lot more. When you have the Adagio, yeah, okay, he's gone for a little bit of a selfish build, but he can still buff you up, and they might be trying to force that fight right now.
That's the gauntlet going down. Emmerking, the main target right now, probably not the best focus for G2K. Techno, he's doing a lot of damage on the Redix, going now on Dark Potato. G2 cannot find a good fight right now as Gangstar Cerebrus pick up a clean ace. They're now in the gold lead, and Kraken just spawned. Vedius, it's another turnaround.
So it feels like Blackfeather is the hero of this series, because once you hit that 15-minute mark, he is just shredding through everything. Redix, that's the name I'm looking for. Redix didn't even have an opportunity to do anything against Techno, because Techno just used that Rose Offensive to flank around, get onto the backline, chunk through Redix. Once he was done with Redix, he turned his attention to Dark Potato, shredded through Dark Potato. Meanwhile, G2, they're investing all of their resources into trying to kill Emma King. Like, G2, poor itemization, I feel. Their target focus seems to be off, and because of that, Gankstars, they're now in a great position to potentially end the game.
I don't know how G2K defend this, if I'm completely honest. I feel like it's a similar situation to last game where they just don't have very good capability to kill the Kraken. Well, I say the same. Obviously, last game it was Gankstars who were in that situation. But, you know, I feel like this really is going to be a challenge. The turret is going to be starting to take some damage now. They are doing a better job of this than Gankstars did last game, but you can see as soon as the turret gets low enough, they got to back away. Emmerking actually jumping forward is a little bit bold. Redix is going to find a few attacks. Board barrage, though, from Leon. Start to put the harass down. Redix needs to try and back away here. Techno nearly knocked onto the platform. That could have been bad. He's actually very low. Gankstars, have they just thrown this? They way overcommitted. Redix wants Leon, can't find it, but the Kraken is gonna go down with one turret left. The game is dead even at this point. I mean, not gold-wise, but this late in the game, I'm not sure the gold even matters that much.
Just have a look at the map right now. 30-second death timers on top of Gankstars. G2, I felt like they perhaps could have just tried to rush the base, but they aren't going to do it. I think the minion mines make the most sense right now. Get a bit of extra gold in your pocket. Make sure that you complete a couple of extra major items. Excuse me, and then make sure that your minions are also sieging towards Gankstars' base so that you have a little bit more control. This is really smart. I like this from G2. They realize that they can't take any objectives off the back of that, so they're just going to concentrate on denying as much as humanly possible away from Gankstars. So they're going to close that gold gap just a little bit. And you can see, look at this, Shatterglass picked up for Redix right now. Infusions across the board for Gankstars. Things are getting super tense right now. And as you rightly said, Gankstars overcommitting, feel like they could just end the game. They felt like they could do a G2 themselves, but they are not able to pull that one off. G2 somehow able to keep their base alive, and things have just suddenly swung wide open as to who is going to close out this game.
Honestly, the only way this game could be more tense is if everyone bought attention, Bo. It's that tense. Things are looking pretty scary for both
Which
these
would not
teams.
make sense at this point in the game, so please don't do that.
But it would be entertaining, and it would make things more tense, and that's what the viewers like.
So would everybody buying 5 clockworks so that we could call it's like, I mean, that would make it entertaining, but not rational sense. And if G2 want to take this to a 2-0 lead, then I think the build path that they're taking right
Redix, he just ultimated. Why is he here?
Oh no.
I have no words for that. That was touch and throw.
I don't know. We're gonna have to have a chat with Redix after that one. Yeah, we're
Did like
definitely
his cat just come across and be like, "Yo, I'm the vainglory god here. Give me that iPad.
Yeah, it reminds me of Exceptions when his son just walks into the room and he's just like, look at me, I'm playing Vainglory now. And he literally just takes it away from him and then he plays. But I'm not sure, we'll have to have a chat with Redix after that.
That's game, right?
It could very well be, unless G2 can somehow miraculously kill the Kraken and get another turnaround fight. It's going to be rough. That they are now.
The scout traps. This is how you defend. When everything is like down to the wire, you buy a lot of scout traps. You make your base one giant trap.
Well, here we go. Redix, he's respawned. This is G2K's likely last opportunity. If they win a fight here, they could turn the game around, and they're just going to force the fight.
They're just going for it. Tendo JJ is on the backline, though. Redix isn't really doing much to him. Leon might go down, but he gets the Fountain proc just in time. Dingo and Dark Potato, they can't get to him. Dark Potato is likely to fall here. He might pick up Leon, but it's not going to be enough. That's the ace going over to Gankstars Cerebrus as the Kraken closes the game out, drawing things up at 1-1.
So I did like the decision-making coming out from G2, just deciding to force the fight before the Kraken even gets into their base, so that they don't have to make a decision between Kraken or fighting, but the way in which they executed it was just not the greatest. They felt like they could just insta-pop Leon with the glass cannon build that Dark Potato has decided to go for. He gets away on just a slither of health, and he uses a phenomenal death from above to disengage from G2, and while all this is going on, Techno is just cleaning up Redix on the backline. Big misplay from Redix to throw away the game right at the end there. I really want to have a chat with him to ask him what exactly happened there, because that was a massive misplay that there's no explanation for that. That was just unforgivable, really.
That was really, really, really bad. Hopefully, Redix gets himself under control for next game, because that can't happen in this situation as well. I mean, this is a super important series for them. Obviously, getting that points lead might put them in good position to be first seed coming into the championships. They have already secured themselves a spot, but got to be going for the win there, and that
you want as many points as possible,
Yeah.
Because you don't know what teams are going to be coming in the next qualifier. Team Secret could completely revamp and be like the old Team Secret that we used to. You can't assume that you're going to make it to the finals once again, so you need to get as many points as possible, and mistakes like that, you will get punished for.
All right, well, hopefully to explain a little bit more about why that